everybody, this is Perch, and I'm here with Joe. How are you doing?
I'm all right, Perch. How are you?
Yeah, it's always a good time. You and I have talked a lot about kind of just comics and creators and kind of this dynamic between everybody, and you had some observations that you want to talk through a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people thought that after certain events that we will not name, that maybe things were going to calm down a bit.
Sure.
On social media, it doesn't seem that way. And you're just seeing a lot of this where people in comics, and I'm sure this is in other industries, but this is a comics channel.
So. Comics channels, it turns out.
So you see people using their social media accounts as if they were like the United States press secretary.
Yeah.
Having to make sweeping declarations on every single trending topic.
Yeah, I think there are a number of people who feel compelled. They see the trending topics and they're like, I've got to give my statement on that because people want to know. They need to know. I'm an important figure.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody either needs to know or wants to know what people think about some of this stuff.
Yeah, but I've also talked to people, maybe you have too, who have actually said, like, they'll sigh and be like, oh, now I have to talk about this thing.
Yes, exactly. I have. Yeah.
And you don't.
You don't at all. Well, okay, so case in point, Elon Musk is going to host Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
I don't know who particularly cares. I think you had mentioned Glenn Greenberg, who we interviewed, had probably one of the best statements on this whole thing. What was it Glenn said?
He said, what was it? It was like, if the cast of SNL is going to boycott and not perform if Elon Musk hosts, I hope he hosts every week.
Yeah, exactly. I don't. As a complete aside, not to derail us right away, but
sure.
What happened with SNL? I mean, did I miss the part where it was on? It was funny, and then it went. There was a period where people just wanted to put it out of its misery, and that was a common sentiment. And then suddenly it's relevant again, but it's not better. Like, when did it become suddenly something anyone wanted to give a shit about?
I don't think it has. I feel like it hasn't been relevant for a long time. But people act like it's relevant when it backs up their interests.
I got you. Okay.
Because, I mean, you see that happen all the time where it's like, oh, people will be like, oh, nobody watches SNL. Some of the same people that say things like, oh, SNL's garbage, nobody watches SNL, are also the same people to be like, oh, they're giving Elon Musk a platform.
Yeah.
And it's like,
why do you care?
But it's like, first, why do you care? Second, either no one's watching or they're giving someone a platform. It can't be both things.
I mean, what if it's a platform nobody is watching?
Yeah.
Is that maybe they should give him that platform? They don't like him.
Yeah, you know what? Let me check something real quick on that hellscape Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Let me see here. That Elon Musk has 52.5 million followers.
Yeah, popular guy.
SNL would be lucky to get 5% of that viewership.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they're trying to get him. Maybe that's why they picked him to host.
It might be, but it's like he's
an evil plan.
He's not getting a bigger audience through SNL.
No.
So
that they're giving him a platform. What platform exactly?
Yeah, and this goes back to another thing with all of this is a lot of people's opinions on other people and topics, especially when you're an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So that might cut a lot of these.
Whoa, man.
Whoa, yeah. But your opinion's pretty well formed.
Sure.
I don't know any adult who, certainly anyone I've talked to or know or have any faith in, have been like, I don't know how I feel about Elon Musk. I was going to wait until he hosted SNL to kind of firm up if I'm pro or anti Elon
Musk. Yeah, who is deciding kind of their ecological stance and how technology impacts society based on SNL skits?
Yeah,
not somebody I want deciding anything.
No, I mean. And as far as like someone like me is concerned, it's just like I don't know. He kind of comes off like a douchebag, and I don't watch SNL anyway. So
sure,
why do I care? And I'll if anything, he's made Grimes less interesting. And I used to listen to Grimes more, and she's kind of went off the deep end in all of that, and it's a shame. But anyway, that aside.
Maybe they're going to stream SNL into Teslas.
Sure, but but you're looking at this, and how many of the people who are really vocal about this were actually going to watch SNL and then found out Elon Musk was going to be on it, and they're like, "Well, no, I can't watch it."
I think so. The silliness of this, and this is just one issue of 10 billion that infect Twitter on a daily basis. I did that video a few weeks ago where it was like, here was what everybody was pissed about every day. And in fairness, I stole that from Slate. Slate, sure, for many years was just doing the outrage of the day on social media. It was a different thing every day. And the point was, look how stupid this is, that everybody gets wound up over these dumb things. But I feel like the people who are watching SNL still, that they're still in, Elon Musk isn't going to cause them not to watch. Frankly, not to mention he who must not be named on Twitter, but if Donald Trump was picked to host SNL, pretty sure these people would watch, because I don't know why, because they would hate every second of it and couldn't not watch, or they would watch anyway. But if you're already watching SNL, you're probably going to watch. If you're like the far greater majority of people who aren't watching SNL, you're not going to watch. Why do you care? Why does anybody care?
Yeah, I mean, people do that. They care about what was it? Michael Shea gets a lot of flack for a bunch of his jokes and all of that, and I don't think really any of them are funny for just because it's not funny.
It's not your thing. Yeah,
and he does the weekend update with Scarlett Johansson's husband.
Yeah, the unfunny one.
Yeah, the other not funny guy.
Yeah,
and it's
no Sonic Live. That's kind of
it's no Sonic Live. But I mean, weekend update hasn't been good in decades. Whenever they have two people doing it, they're constantly breaking and making each other giggle. Yeah, and it's like this hasn't been funny in a long time. So I don't watch.
It's
for
also
that reason.
But I did take us down that side. But to the original point, it is. I'm confused why people feel compelled to want to address this again. And I think you said it well, like a press secretary. Like I have to make my statement on the inclusion of Elon Musk on SNL. Because as the colorist of Suicide Squad, no offense, by the way, to whoever that is, I'm using an example I don't know, and fake example. But why does anybody care? And do you think your fans care? Like what is the point that you're trying to make here?
Yeah, that's part of where you get this cult of personality, because they're not fans, they're followers.
Right. Okay.
Which again is the more you think about it, the creepier it gets.
That definitely gets creepier. Yeah.
And people look at this and they're like, I have a following. I have thousands of people who wait with bated breath to see how I am going to guide them with my moral clarity. I've never I've never changed an opinion because someone I follow on Twitter made a statement. And, if
No.
Is it possible maybe someone could bring up something I don't know, and then I will independently look into it with actual resources and, actual like real journalism and things like that? That might happen.
Good.
But I'm not gonna look at someone, quote, tweet dunking someone and be like, that taught me something, and I need to. It's all just people trying to reaffirm each other, and it's all about, I'm going on there and I'm waiting for, like, I guess with some followers, they're like, I'm signing on Twitter, and I'm expecting the people I follow to believe everything I believe, or else I'm going to have to start unfollowing some people.
Yeah, it's just very strange. It's because a lot of the topics that people bring up are ones that they clearly do not know what they're talking about. And in this, I'm not saying this as an insult. It's like you not everyone can be an expert on everything.
Sure.
Geopolitical relations in the Ukraine, and the environmental footprint of NFTs, and these other 18 topics. You're not going to be an expert. Nobody is going to be an expert on all those 18 things.
Nope.
You're not expected to be. You're not expected to go on and comment on these things. And really, you find yourself, you're like us, I think, reading this stuff going, what, sir, this is a comics Twitter. Like, what are you doing? Like, don't you have some books out this week? Don't you have an opinion on, like, some inspiration? Like, I think people misjudge how interested and excited a lot of these followers, and now I'm not going to be able to unhear how creepy that is as you said it, but
yes,
I'm not. Most people would be thrilled to learn, your art inspirations. For example, what were the comics that you read? What were the things you remember? Hell, if you're a comic creator, if you're Dan Slott and you read a lot of comics in your past, and he has undoubtedly, he could go through one a day and just say, hey, here's a comic I picked up. I like this thing about it, and this gave a memory for me, and I used it for She-Hulk. People would eat that stuff up.
Sure.
And it would be legitimate. Like it would be a legitimate kind of bond with somebody who's trying to pay attention to comics, as opposed to maybe his feelings on, asking Jeff Bezos to pay each member of SNL $1 million to not appear on TV with Elon Musk. Like, what are you doing at that point?
Yeah, like someone like Dan Slott too. He has written so many comics. He could probably for like a whole year, or like more than a year, be like, every day I'm going to give commentary on an issue of a comic I wrote, which
people would want to read.
Yeah,
like legitimately. I mean, you would get a bigger following. You would get people very excited, and I think people want that. They like that director's commentary type stuff. The material is out there.
Yeah,
you've written nothing, or you've written 100 things. I mean, yeah, you're right. A Dan Slott could go through one of his Spider-Man comics a week, and be at it for what? I mean, he get years of material out of that.
Absolutely, years and years. Like no problem.
Seems strange, like, but it weirdly, wouldn't that be better for your ego? Or I mean, because then you're promoting you.
But people tie all this directly to their ego. I mean, you see this stuff all the time. You see people are like, I'm so close to 2,000 followers. I'm so close to 10,000 followers. They're doing contests and giveaways.
Yeah.
You'll see like artists and stuff like that be like, so when you do stuff like that, you're already creating artificial numbers. And then you get upset when people who weren't actually interested in following you in the first place unfollow you.
Yeah.
You get people who actually will, talk to you, or they'll tweet things like, I lost 8 followers today. I don't know what happened.
I get the feeling people are legitimately depressed. I mean, I've read some of these tweets where somebody says something like, I lost 8 followers today. I don't know what's going on. And you get the feeling like they're logging off of Twitter to head to the whiskey, and they're going to just drink themselves unconscious on the couch to try and sleep off this huge depression. Like, again, one, who cares? But it seems so obvious that you could very easily have your feed filled with stuff that promotes you. It could be Twitter you.
Yeah.
And yet you're taking this side rail into talking about the Israel-Palestinian conflict.
Yeah, that U.S. healthcare.
Sure, healthcare.
All sorts
every couple of weeks we get healthcare.
No, healthcare comes up a lot. It's so many different things, and then it's like Twitter feeds in particular end up being a mix of that, and then friends blowing smoke up each other's asses.
Sure.
For for a while, 40 somethings talking about how they can't wait to read your middle grade graphic novel that's coming out.
Yeah, that's creepy.
People that make, that design tricycles don't get 40-year-olds tweeting back at them being like, I can't wait to ride your tricycle.
Lance Armstrong weighs in on the Huffy manufacturer about their line of tricycles. Yeah, no, it's all very, very strange, and it is. And what's also weird is you do see creators, I think, who are quote unquote doing it right. I think Walt Simonson and John Buscema, others will. Their accounts are just posting art and here's some stuff I did in the past. Yeah. Gaiman usually, I mean, he weighs in on some things, but he stays on point most of the time for kind of what he is.
Yeah, but Neil Gaiman's already such an established force.
Sure.
And it's like, he can get away with kind of.
Well, he can do nothing, but isn't that's even weirder then that he's more on topic than people who are up and coming trying to reach that point.
Yeah. Or even the people who, need job after job to get by. Like Neil could not be hired for something again and change his lifestyle very little to accommodate that.
Yeah. It's it's very peculiar, and it always feels like I don't know. I don't know what people are doing, and I think the other side of this coin, and I'm gonna do some videos in the future. We were talking about before we were on the air about. I know there's this angst for a lot of comic customers and fans. They get blocked, and they're like, "Crap, I got blocked." Mm-hmm. Now I can't see what's in this Twitter feed. And
can I still pick up their books? I don't even know. It's like they just unfollowed you on Twitter.
Well, and I guess the side of that is, without, again, not mentioning names, I know an older creator who somewhere heard something that you shouldn't be following more than 100 people. I don't know what the source of this was or why or what kind of TED Talk they listened to, but basically went there and unfollowed everybody. Just wiped the whole thing clean and then added back in family members. And this was one of those cases where a bunch of younger creators like, holy shit, I just got unfollowed. They hate me now. And it's like, no, they listen to something on YouTube. I mean, what do you? It's very weird.
No, I've heard random advice like you want to make sure that you are always being followed by more people than you're following. And
yes,
these different like weird pissing contest rules. I
hear that all the time
with social media, and it's like who cares unless you're actually working in like social media marketing and things like that, and if you're not, and an editor is actually using that as a barometer of if they should hire you or not, and they're like, we were going to give you this job, but you're following more people than you have followers, then that editor needs to go because they're insane.
Yes, and I want to believe, and I feel fairly confident that's not happening anywhere. But
I don't think that's
never know. But no, it all feels very petty. I mean, I've talked about social media some. We've talked together plenty. It is this very strange little sideshow that goes on. I don't know.
And it doesn't at all translate to sales. A lot of smaller publishers really push creators, regardless of how big their following is, to like promote on social media, and they're very big on like, make sure you retweet this thing that might get 5 retweets, and you better do this live stream that's going to have 6 people watching live and maybe 100 views going forward, because you really need to promote. And it's like, what are you talking about? Because you're actually like, that's not necessarily, it's not doing as much as you might think.
No, it is definitely not.
Yeah,
it's it's a sense of a very strange market. And again, the part that's so weird is I do think there's some people who are getting it right. I think there's some social media accounts that you have a great following, and that's still creepy now, but they're putting stuff out. They're getting art. They're getting promoted. There's a very good back and forth relationship with customers and other creators across the board. Lots of different people.
Yeah.
Scott Snyder is not blue check marked. He seems like he's doing just fine. You know, I don't know if he hasn't applied or doesn't give a shit. I hope it's the latter.
I would hope so, that he doesn't care. But yeah, he's doing fine. He does short little videos every once in a while. Doesn't tweet like a lunatic. You rarely ever see like a thread. Usually if someone's posting a thread, you're like, I need to get the hell out of here.
Oh, crap.
Because
I mean, those people are crazy. No, I've No, you're right. I think anytime you get to a thread, and I'm guilty of it. I'll start writing, and then I'm on post number 3 of the thread. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? This is a complete waste of everyone's time, including me. I do not know why I'm writing like that. But no, it's lunatic stuff. There's people who do this every day, and not just every day, but many times a day, around a wide variety of topics. And I know the pushback has been, you guys should stick to comics. I don't know about that. It's just, but maybe stick to at least the ballpark of something. I mean,
there's some sort of happy medium.
Yes.
You know, promote your comics, and also like, you know, people have also made this suggestion, which I think is fair, of like, separate it. If you want a personal account, you can have a private personal account of you and your friends, and then have a main account where you promote your stuff and you keep it light.
Keep it light. I think that's the right way. You can still talk about, like, I saw this movie, I saw this on TV. Again, I think a number of creators are doing this successfully, but it's the daily, you know, and it always starts with like, okay, it's important for us to talk about this, a thread, and you're like, oh shit, here we go talking about just human trafficking, and I'm like, that's a terrible thing. I came here for some previews of the new Robin book, but okay, we're talking about human trafficking today.
Yeah, or it's, you know, it's stuff like that, and then it's like, you know, then they're promoting their cover for My Little Pony.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and you're just like, or it's just like, hi, I'm doing this fun, like, little middle grade book about a girl and her magical dragon. And here is everything I have to say about, you know, HR Bill 251 that's going to be hitting the, you know, the Homeland Security Committee on Wednesday. And here's the list of members and the phone numbers to call. And, you know, it's like, all right, you know, you can, I don't know why. I don't know where this disconnect came in, where, you know, someone is just like, you know, well, I do covers for My Little Pony, so I think I know quite a bit about, you know, HR Bill 251, and I think people are going to go out of their way to be like, you know, probably knows about this. That guy doing those My Little Pony covers. I'm gonna let me check their account.
It's very strange. I agree, and it's one thing. I think I see people. What is it? Jerry Ordway, I think, will retweet things. So that's more normal, because at least he's not there going, and now let me give you my deep opinions on the Georgia state election law. It's here's somebody else I follow, and I'm passing it along. Again, I mean, you know, there you can go to excess. It's like, here's 18 people all talking about this, and I'm going to pass all 18 of them along. That gets insane. But but at least, and I'm throwing this guy's name out again. There's plenty of creators who retweet and all the rest, but the particular weird ones to me are always the ones who are, I'm going to give you my view of exactly Fulton County and where the election counting is going wrong per eyewitnesses. And it's like, what are you doing? You live in Malibu. You do not have anything to do with this. It's
and it's like, I don't care how passionate you are about it. You're not an authority figure on it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to you for this stuff. I don't look to a lot of people for those things unless they have that kind of information, or I can trust them on that. Like,
but do you think anyone's look? I mean, because here's the thing: people do this and they get some engagement, they get some likes, but the likes are really, I think, just general support of the person or the concept in some vague way. Sure. But I have a hard time believing that many people are reading through these like 20 tweet thread novels about HR 251. Going and learning anything. Like nobody, like, I mean, what do you even do with that? Because when you look at the responses, you don't see an interesting dialogue like, well, but have you considered the addendum writer that authorizes force in a certain instance? You see just people posting the, Meryl Streep clapping gif, or, exactly, or the guy pointing up saying this, they're not reading any of this stuff either. It's all just one big bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of, I need people to know that I agree with them.
Yeah.
Or that they can agree with me, which is a weird position. And this also goes into, even beyond that kind of stuff, like, here's a random example. When The Force Awakens came out, I was a brave trailblazer who said, I thought this movie was just kind of okay.
Okay, yeah.
And I actually had this was on Facebook, I posted something along the lines of, at least the Phantom Menace tried to do a couple of different things than just rehash A New Hope.
Yep.
And I actually had someone DM me to say, I am unfriending you because you thought The Phantom Menace was better than The Force Awakens.
See, I think that person did you a favor.
Yeah, no, absolutely they did me a favor. I wasn't like, oh no, how can I rectify this? But, it's one of those things where it's like,
that's a weird bar.
It's a very weird bar, and especially now, again, this is another thing too. Discourse does change. People's opinions do change. That opinion is more acceptable now than it was in 2015, 2016.
Well, especially when Rian Johnson's film came out and just showed us how a really great movie could be, then you have to accept that Force Awakens was average.
Yeah, it's like as the movies kept coming out, the opinions kept being like, actually, that wasn't as, even like red letter media.
Yeah.
The farther away they get from The Force Awakens, they needlessly spoke up that movie's ass, except for Rich Evans, the real hero.
Yes, the real hero. There was a lot of fluffing back then, yeah.
There was, and people kind of came around, and it's and that in that instance, I was right. There are instances where I wasn't right, or instances, not right, these are opinions, but where my initial opinion ended up not being the opinion going forward.
Your initial opinion turned out to be the popular one.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a whole big mess. But you also, God, this is such a thread, because you then see that this is one of the parts of it, now that we kind of took a weird and winding turn here, to one of the bigger points of, somewhere along the lines, your morals and ethics became tied to what you like to consume in media.
Which is, this is a whole topic in and of itself. So we should, but you're absolutely right. I find it very strange that your sense of right and wrong, your morals, your ethics, are somehow tied to which streaming platform you're watching your content on. And that is a very weird choice. And I've been thinking, like, is this, how do the entertainment companies feel about this? Is this like their dream come true? They finally have achieved relevance for, the stupid shit, like the Mortal Kombat movie now has higher relevance because it can be tied to the ideological debate in some way. But I don't think they're thinking this. I think I don't know how we got there or who it's benefiting. But
yeah, I don't either. But that's part of why we did the bad pitches for Punisher was because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, no one cares now.
Yeah.
But a few months ago,
give Rosenberg that comic back. Why not?
Yeah, but a few months ago, it was like, I don't think I could morally accept the job of writing Punisher, and I think it's time that we retire Frank Castle and the Skull and all this. And it's like, he's a fictional character.
Yeah. Yes.
He's not real. And and a lot of the same people with that, you're like, oh, well, what about, I don't know, all the slasher serial killer movies and, stuff like that. And it's like, oh, no, that's all fine. Let's have all the Freddy and Jason and, Michael Myers and all that. That's all fine. Having these irredeemable, enjoying this, this. But no, you can't have.
There was somebody who was pointing out. I like that little pixie dust sound there. We got there.
Yeah, no, that was nice.
That was nice. Thanks, Reem. I like how there was somebody who was tied to the production of the Saw movies that was weighing in on how we need to retire the Punisher because it doesn't fit with our current sensibilities. And it's like, you make Saw.
Yeah, and then fast forward to today where people are like, that Baron Zemo's hilarious. I love that guy. He's like the best character. And it's like, but
Are people aware, do you think, that Baron Zemo, I mean, the word Nazi gets thrown around a lot.
Sure.
But that's kind of applicable with Baron Zemo.
Yes.
Like he was part his way. I mean, in a kind of a roundabout way, part of the Nazi regime. That character.
Yeah, but you have that. Then you have characters like Winter Soldier, which again, people really love that character, and it's like he's a serial killer,
sure,
who murdered countless people, countless innocent people.
Yeah, there's no word for murdering a son. Sorry.
No, it's fine. But then you have characters, like Nebula, murdered, possibly. She's probably responsible for the murder of millions, if not billions, of people.
Yeah, she's blowing up planets.
Yeah, but she's fun, and
she's part of the family. It's about family.
It is about family. That's what makes it special.
No, I agree. It doesn't make. I saw the Baron Zemo stuff, and a lot of people posting it. It's like, oh, it's so funny the way he dances. I love this character. I just wish we. Why are we not getting a series of just this character? It's like, okay. I mean,
I'm fine with that in a world where people aren't going crazy over something like the Punisher.
I'm fine with it. I think you could do a series of Baron Zemo. After watching him act, I'm up for. I'd rather see that, I suspect, than Loki in a bit. I know Hiddleston, but it's if you're going to make speeches and tweet threads and big statements and speak to your followers about the Punisher being a problematic, must be retired character because some dumbass had a patch. And ran around the Capitol, then you can't support. I don't think you can then hop over and support the Baron Zemo show. There's no consistency in that.
Wolverine's probably killed more people than the Punisher,
for sure,
because he's just by virtue of being a lot older.
Jean Grey has killed more than both.
Jean Grey murdered so many broccoli aliens.
Yes. Yes, she fries like broccoli.
Yes, and has been redeemed multiple times. Scarlet Witch did heinous things, and we love her in WandaVision. She's so quirky.
She's great. A treasure, really.
She really is, but yeah, it's weird that there's a lot of picking and choosing, especially anyone who likes X-Men. I mean, how many times has Magneto been redeemed? Like, I'll do another genocide, and then they'll be cool with me again, and then I'll just murder millions more people, and then they'll be like, get back here, Eric. Come on,
come on, Eric. You got that tough childhood.
Come on, or and a lot of other people, and again, people who have been involved in writing the X-Men. Or involved in the X-Men at all, who are like, it's time to retire the Punisher. Meanwhile, Apocalypse is a sad dad.
Oh, he's so and, OMG, Apocalypse! It's so much the feels. He got reunited with that family. Oh, it's great. And who doesn't love Sabretooth and Mystique? Like, Mystique is such an iconic character with a wonderful story, and you just have to hand it to her with Destiny and everything. That relationship, she is the best. And but fuck Punisher. I don't know. It just.
And Mr. Sinister is adorable with the cape.
Oh, the cape is so cute.
It's very cute.
Yeah. I mean, how do we not know those skulls were not the skulls Mystique wears around her belt that those people in the Capitol have? They could be. Hashtag.
But no, it's we're being extreme here to make a point, but the idea is it is a lot of this ends up being silly non-issues. If it was an actual issue, we wouldn't have stopped talking about it a week later and moved on to the next thing.
Or day.
Yeah, or day.
Many of these do not last 24 hours, and it really feels like you're speaking to your followers, but at the same time you are following Twitter's trending algorithm and basically going wherever it tells you and giving your speeches to your followers, who are then out disseminating more nonsense. We all just need the return of MySpace.
Yeah, absolutely. Just stick to your top 8.
Yeah, that's right.
And then just pick a shitty song that is your song, that when we go on your page, we're all like, oh, you're so cool. You have like a Muse song.
Oh, dear God.
Every time Muse would come on, and it's been a while because no one gives a fuck about Muse anymore, but every time I'd go out, like, I guess this was like 10 years ago. Oh my God, time. And like Muse would be playing, like in like the speakers at like a mall or something like that. I would just be like, God, like Radiohead's really gone downhill. Nice. And then I'd be like, oh no, it's Muse. So,
yeah. Yeah. Joe, thank you very much. We'll keep each other sane on social media.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. And everybody, just tweet less. You can always tweet less.
Tweet less. Relax. It'll be okay.